Hello. This is my first video, so if it's trash, I don't need you to tell me that it's trash because I already know. Anywho, this is gonna be a what if Deku was the Winter Soldier with some modifications, shall I say. It's gonna be a little assassin, like how he is in the Marvel. But anywho, that is what is gonna happen in this, so why don't we just get into it then? So it starts off with how everyone starts off, with a mother, or with a woman and a man. I wonder what happens if they love each other so much. I'm joking though. So, as soon as Hisashi, I think that's Deku's dad's name, since Hisashi finds out that Inko is pregnant, he dips. Like, what a dipshit move. He doesn't want that responsibility to take care of a kid and shit. He was kind of, in this story, in this what if, he was a man whore. Let's just accept that now, not later. He was a man whore, he dipped, all that. So then, Inko had to work through, to make rent and have food and, shelter, electricity and water, all that good stuff. So yeah, that sucks. He had to work when she was pregnant. Anywho, 9 months later, Izuku was born. A perfectly healthy baby. So, in this story, him and Kachan, or Bakugo, I guess you would say, are friends. They grew up together, like in canon, I think they did. Anywho, they were friends. They were, from, zero, Mitsuki kind of had, she did have him at the same time, except, Bakugo was a little bit older, a month older, I'll say. So, yeah. They were friends. They were inseparable, from the age 0 to 4, best buds. They promised each other that they would be, I'm sorry if you heard that. My dog is acting stupid right now. If you have a dog that just gets in trouble all the time, that is my dog. Literally, she's just not there. Anyway, back to the what if. Where was I? I think it was Bakugo and him. Complicated friendship. Yeah. So once Bakugo turned 4 and found out his quirk, and everyone was praising him for it, how strong it was and how strong it's gonna be, and how good he is, basically stroking his ego. He pushed Izuku away because he still hasn't had his quirk, and then Bakugo called him Deku. He started calling Deku from 4, and Deku, Izuku was all why are you being so mean? I literally did nothing to you. Kachan. And then Bakugo was all you're weak and I cannot be friends with a weakling. And then, he started hanging out this little sidekicks, these little assholes. So, he pushed Izuku away, but when no one else was in the room, Bakugo would kinda act nice towards Deku. So, when Izuku was, confused, why? Even though Bakugo already said it. So, yeah, that's their relationship right now, Apparently, Bakugo got this idea inside his head. He has to act tougher than everyone, thinks he's stronger than everyone, and high and mighty. And, that was their relationship. I already said that, so I'm just repeating it at this point. Anywho, Deku was still a nerd, He was smart for his age. He kept up with his grades. He still studied all the heroes and all their quirks and how they worked and their weaknesses. Everything about their life. Basically, knowing everything in his notebooks. And he would even keep track of villains. I'm not sure if he did that in canon or not, but I'm just gonna say that he did. No, the villains that came on TV and said what their quirks were and everything, he only knew it from that. So, like, his, like, notebooks weren't as reliable because he was hearing it secondhand and he didn't know personally. So, yeah, he was a nerd. So I think for you go to preschool, I'm not sure if they have preschool in Japan. But again, this is my way, so I decide what the fuck happens in this. So, you know, he goes to preschool, and I hope I'm starting at the straight age. If not, then, well, fuck it. They're going at 4. So, he goes to preschool that day, and that day, Kachan, like, bullied him in front of everyone. Like, everyone, and the teachers didn't see jack shit, because they're fucking shitty, shitty teachers. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today, apparently. You know, like, they just, like, all the kids, like, joined in, and, like, that was, like, his worst day. But, like at the end of the class, he was, like, packing up his stuff. Midoriya was. Like, it was the end of the school day, and Bakugo stayed back, like, to talk to Deku, and Deku didn't want to talk to him. He, like, kind of ignored him because he was, like, kind of mad and sad that Bakugo was, like, his friend, the person he trusted all of his life, which is a very short one, only 4 years, but, you know, that's still something. You know, so he was mad that his friend, his apparent friend, was, like, turning on him, basically, and Bakugo was all, like, the strong... He was like, I'm strong, so I can't be friends with a weakling. He basically repeats himself, and then Deku's like, whatever, and then he just, like, leaves the room. And, like, you know, they kind of argued for, like, 5 minutes, let's say. So Inko was outside waiting for Midoriya. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted by my dog. She is getting near the fucking food. Anywho, yeah, she was waiting outside for Midoriya. She's all like, honey, what took you so long? Because, you know, he usually is the first out, running out and hugging her and stuff. And then he was like, oh, I saw a cat. And I petted it and played with it. And then she's like, oh, okay. Because she believed him. Because he's an innocent cinnamon roll. And then he just lied to her about the Kachan incident. Yeah. So they go away at the train place, bus stop thing. I'm sorry. So they wait there. They wait for their train. Unfortunate foreshadowing of the train. Anywho, back to the story. Yeah, they were waiting on the train, and that was the day that he was gonna find out his quirk. Because everyone in his class already had their quirks. They developed it. And, like, he was the last one, and the people started to call him quirkless because of that. And he didn't like that one bit. You know, Deku was like, I'm not going to be quirkless. I'm going to have a strong quirk, stronger than all of you. And then Bakugo was like, no, you're not. You're just going to be a quirkless loser. That's never going to amount to anything. And, you know, that kind of shattered his heart. Like, who wouldn't? Your friend turned on you. So, you know, they went to the quirk doctor, which was like, let's say, 15 minutes away from the preschool. So, yeah, they go in there, and then they're all like, Midoriya's, anyone? And then Inko was all like, come on, Izuku, let's go. And, you know, like, he's all happy, and he's like, I'm gonna be just like All Might. I'm gonna prove them wrong, and everything. And then Inko laughed, and, you know, because in this story, she's the best mom ever. #1 mom in the world. So, They do that checkup, they do the test, they're waiting for the results, and then the doctor in this finds out that Midoriya is quirkless. And you might be asking yourself, why am I saying that with such a cheerful voice? Because the doctor works for All for One. And for plot reasons, they need a quirkless person. And let's say in this world that the quirkless people population is like only 2% out of the whole thing, out of the whole world. So quirkless people are pretty freaking rare. And like they need a quirkless person, All for One, for his, let's say he's trying to make a Nomu, but he needs a base. And every quirkless, every quirked person that he experimented on, they all died. It wasn't working out. Like something just happened. It wasn't working. So then the doctor figured out, it's because they have quirks. We need a quirkless person. And then they scanned the city for quirkless people. They come back and said only one person was quirkless. And it was some old, 65-year-old man. And he was at his deathbed, sadly. Then they're like, he's useless. We can't use him for the experiment. So then cut back to the doctor's office. Yeah, doctor's office. And then the doctor comes in kind of with a smile, like a slight smile on his face, because he just got excellent news that Zuko was quirkless. And he's like, I need this kid. It's gonna happen. It's gonna snatch you. Anywho, he walks in with a slight smile on his face, and Inko's like, oh, you're finally back. We were waiting for quite a while. What took so long? And then he's like, ma'am, I'm sorry to say, but your son is quirkless. And he kind of says that with a cheerful tone, a little bit a cheerful tone with that. And then Inko's all like, what do you mean quirkless? Did you check again? Did you test it? Did you make sure that it was correct? And then he was like, ma'am, I checked it 3 times because I couldn't believe it myself. And then he kind of put a little laugh at the end. Then Inko's like, what is wrong with you? You just gave my son horrifying news that he can't be a hero. Then he was like, sorry, ma'am. And then he goes over to Midoriya, pats him on the back. Again, unfortunate foreshadowing. So he pats him on the back and walks out. And then Midoriya is just looking down at his hands, and his eyes start overflowing. And then he looked up at his mom, and he was all like, so I can't be like All Might? I can't be a hero? And then he's kind of smiling, and tears are just flooding down his face like crazy. Then Inko was like, no, honey, you can be a hero. This is just another obstacle. This is just gonna make you stronger. And then, because Inko, again, number one mom, supportive of her son. So then Dika, not Diki, Azuku looks down and just starts crying into his mom's arms, and then it took her 15 minutes to calm him down from the news. Sorry, I had to burp. Hold on. Okay, back to the story. Cut back to the doctor. He zoomed out of that doctor's office. Then he told his colleagues that sorry guys, that family emergency came up. And then they're like, okay, I'll get your coverage shift, but why are you smiling? Then he was all like, don't worry about it. Then he tried to wipe his smile off his face, but he as he was driving to All for One's base, the LOVs. Not sure. Yeah, their base. So he called him up while he was driving towards there, and he was all like, "Sir, you won't believe what just happened." And then All For One was all like, "What happened?" Because he was like All For One was kind of disappointed because his first new move didn't work, and like none of the experiments were working because they needed a quirkless person, and there was like no one in the city capable because they weren't quirkless and they couldn't use the old guy. So um, the doctor was like, "No, I'll tell you when I get there." And then he was all like, "No, just spit it out. Tell me now over the phone." And then, because he was kind of snappy that day, then he was like, "I'll see you soon, sir." Then he hangs up, and then, like, the LOV's base, All For One's base is, like, let's say 10 minutes away from the doctor's office. Yeah. So he, like, burst open the door, and All For One's like, "What is it?" And then, like, the doctor was all like, "I found a quirkless candidate for the Nomu." And then the Alphonse like, "What? I thought you said that we scanned the city for quirkless people. So are you telling me that your technology doesn't work?" And then the doctor was like, he's like, "No, sir. It was because it's a kid. He's 4 years old." And then Alphonse like, "What?" And then he was like, "Yeah, he came in today to see what his quirk was, but it turns out he's quirkless." And then Alphonse was like, "We need to get that kid. We need to send someone to get him." So All For One calls up, let's say, Muscular. Hold on. Hey! Hold on. I'm sorry. Go to your crate. Get. Sorry about that. My dogs were just being crazy. So where were we? Yeah, he All For One called up Muscular. Muscular's all like, "What do you want?" And then All For One's like, I got something for you to do." And then Muscular, like, you guys know Muscular. He's only in it for the fun and the kill, but he can't kill Zubu. And then, oh my god, I keep stuttering. So Muscular's all like, "Why should I do it? I'm not killing anyone in this. It's no fun." And then All For One, it's all like, "Oh, it'll be good pay because I know you need money to keep doing what you do and keep off the grid and stuff like that." And then Muscular's all like, "True." And then he's like, "What's the job?" And then that was Muscular, by the way. And then All For One explains everything. Then the doctor snapped a picture of Midoriya. Pervert. Anywho, he showed Muscular he sent the picture to Muscular, say, "This is the kid, this is the target," or whatever. So then, like when he patted Izuku on the back, he put a tracker on him, and it was like a small one. Like, they didn't even notice. Okay, so we're cutting back to Inko and Izuku. So, like, once he calmed down, and then she's like, "Come on, honey, let's go home." And then he's like, "Okay." Like, he's still kind of down. So then they're waiting at the train, and then Muscular sees them. He's like, and then he was like, "Should I go out now, or should I go to them when they're on the train?" Then he's like, "No, I'll go after them with the train moving, because that sounds like more fun." And then he decides that. So then Inko and Midoriya get on the train. Sorry. They get on the train. Inko notices that Azuku is still kind of sad, which who wouldn't be? And then she was all like, wow. And then she was like, Azuku, how about we go get ice cream? And then he was all like, yeah, sure. And then she smiled at him, and then he smiles back and everything. And as they were talking about that, the train side just like bust open, and then like the metal pieces of the scraps of the train, they were just like fucking flew off. And then it just flew off, and then like one of the what would you call it? Metal pieces, I guess, like cut Izuku's arm like 3/4 of the way off, so it was like dangling there. Then the blood was just gushing out of his arm, and then Inko's like, no. When she looked up, because she was knocked out of her seat, and she was banged up like everyone else on the train. They all fell out of their seat, and there were like some hit their heads, some hurt them. Well, all of them hurt them. So they were all hurt, and they're like, what the fuck's going on? And then they just see Muscular standing there, and then they all like cuddle up in a corner, but like Inko's too busy trying to like like take care of Izuku the best that she can, because he's in fucking pain. He is in pain, bro. So like she's trying to like calm him down, and like trying to like take care of the arm that is bleeding like everywhere. But they don't notice that Muscular is there. So then Muscular looks around for he looks around for freaking Izuku. Sorry, I just looped out there. And he looks around for Izuku, and then he sees him. He like grabs Inko and literally throws her across the train. So then Izuku's like, Mom, as he like barely whimpers that out. And then Muscular grabs Izuku's right wrist, because obviously not the left, because All For One told him that he needs Izuku alive. So then he grabs him, and then like he's like saying, Mom, no, please let me go. And then Inko gets up, and she's like, I will not let you take my son, as Muscular was just about to jump off the train with Izuku. And then like Izuku's like trying to fight off Muscular and go back to his mom and stuff. But we all know that ain't gonna do nothing to Muscular. And Muscular's like, shut it, you brat, you're annoying. And then he just cries more. And then Muscular's like, you know what? I'm gonna show you what happens if you don't shut up. And then he like lets go of Izuku. And then like he just starts beating on Inko. And then like once she's like on her deathbed, and like I'm not gonna get too gory with this, because I don't want to, and I'm not good with like the fucking gory details. So he beats her like to basically death. She's knocking on heaven's door. And oh fuck, I just forgot a big plot in the story. That's my fault. And then like he throws Inko like in front of Midoriya. And then Inko was all like, she grabs, she uses all her strength left in her, and sits up and like reaches out her hand, and then Izuku puts his face or his cheek in her hand, and then don't be weird with that, just don't. His face. And then he like cuddles into her hand, and then Inko said that she loved him, and that she will always be with him no matter what, and don't ever forget that. And she said no matter what, do follow your dreams, do whatever you have to do to make it happen, and you know that she always loved him and stuff like that, and that she always supported him. And then Muscular like clearly grabs her foot and throws her off the hole of the train that he bursted through. And then Medora's like, no. And then Izuku's like, no, Mom. And then like he finally passes out from the pain and blood loss of his arm. And then Muscular just grabs him and jumps off the train and goes back to All for One's base. So, like, Izuku is fading in and out of consciousness. But, like, he, like, then... This is at the base, by the way. He's, like, on a medical table. And it's also at night, if I didn't say that before. So, you know. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. So that happened. Then he wakes up and then he looks over. He sees like this guy in the suit and his face is all like messed up. And then he sees Muscular, like him and this dude arguing, and then All for One, because we all know it's All for One arguing with Muscular. So, and then Alphonse like, I told you not to hurt him. I needed him alive. He's like dying right now. And then Muscular's like, I didn't know he was that weak. And then All for One's all like, I told you he was quirkless. Of course he's weak, and he's 4 fucking years old. And then Muscular's all like, be like literally just like flipped All for One off, and then All for One like stormed off. They went off their different ways, and then the doctor was all like fixing up Deku, like, making sure that he would live, and like he had to amputate his arm. That happened. So then he passes out again from the pain. 3 days later, he wakes up. He finally wakes up, and then the doctor is all like, oh good, you're up. Finally. Took you long enough. Sorry, I'm writing something down real quick. So then Azuka's all like, what happened? And then the doctor's all like, don't. And then he's all like, don't worry about it. You'll be just fine. And then Azuka's all like, what? And then Azuka's like, who are you? Where am I? Where's my mom? And then like his memories all start flooding back from the night on the train. Then he's like, no, that's not possible. My mom can't be dead. And then the doctor just starts laughing. He's like, you pathetic thing. But don't worry, I will make sure you're strong and that you're unstoppable. As he like laughs evilly like a evil scientist would. Sorry if you hear my dogs again. You know how they are. Anywho, yeah. He laughs evilly, and then Izuku's like just crying his eyes out. And then like the doctor like waves his hand, like someone gesturing someone to come over, and then the door opens. And by the way, he's like in a cell type of place. He just has a bed and a table and a toilet, obviously. So yeah, he just has that, and then like he waits for like someone to come in, and then Deku isn't really paying attention, and then like the door swings open, and then this person comes in carrying a box. He sets it on the table as he kind of grunts because it's heavy. So then the doctor says leave, and then the guy leaves. And then he was all like, "Hey kid, don't worry about it. Everything will be fine. I'll make sure you live. I'll make sure you're strong enough to take down All Might." And then Izuku looks up like, "What? I'm not gonna hurt All Might. I'm quirkless. I'm weak. I'm nothing." And then Doctor's like, don't worry your pretty little face about it." And then as he flips open the case open, and then Zuko kind of looks up like wondering what it is. And then he just sees a metal arm, and then Zuko's all like, "I don't need that. Why do you have a metal arm?" And then the doctor's like, just looks on with a confused face, and then he's all like, "Child, are you fucking stupid? Are you stupid?" And then he's all like, "What do you mean I'm not stupid?" And then he points to like his left side, and he looks down. And then he's like horrified just to see a stub of an arm. And he's like, "What did you do to me? What did you do to my arm?" Because all he can remember is his mom dying, because that's the only thing he's replaying in his mind over and over and over again. Just his mom and what she said to him before she died. Hold on again, my dogs. Sorry. Okay, that should be handled, hopefully. Anywho, where were we? Yeah, the middle arm. Azuki found out his arm, what happened, and everything. And then the doctor, basically, knocks him out. And he wakes up. Let's say, the procedure the doctor did, took 3 hours. This is all overnight. 3 hours, and he wakes up again. Then he looks down, and he sees his metal arm. And then he's just like, "What?" And then the doctors are like, "Try to move your arm, boy." And then he tries to. Izuku tries to. And then, sorry, it's late. Well, not late, but, I'm sick. So, I'm tired more than usual. Anywho, and then he he tries to move it, and then his fingers move, and then his arm moves, and then he's like, "What?" And then the doctor's like, "Yes, my masterpiece worked." And then and then Azuka just kind of looks at him, and then the doctor's like, and then the doctor pulls out a syringe, literally out of nowhere. And then this is a serum to make him shoot super strong. But it's gonna hibernate in him for a few years, so it won't kick in, but it's gonna be excruciatingly painful when he injects it. And he does. And he he injects it into Izuku, and then Izuku is just screaming out in pain for 2 hours until he finally falls asleep. Next morning, wait, no, we're gonna flip over to Bakugo's perspective. So then he went home from school and all that good stuff. And then I'm just gonna say Inko got on the train, let's say at 6. And then Mitsuki, Bakugo's mom, Mitsuki and Bakugo are at home. Well, his dad is at work. So, they see the news. Mitsuki puts on the news, and then And Bakugo just sits down on the couch, like saying, "Can we change this stupid channel?" And then Macy's like, "No, we cannot." I'm sorry if you heard that. Again, my dogs are freaking getting on my nerves. Anyhow, yeah. She flipped it to the new channel. Next thing she sees is, "Coming from the train station, blah blah blah. There was a villain attack and it was muscular. He killed Inko Midoriya on the cage, a mother of Izuku Midoriya." And then as soon as Mitsuki and Bakugo heard this, they immediately paid attention, like, what? Like, what happened? Like, and then Mitsuki's like, "I just saw her today. She was fine. She was happy." And then Mitsuki's all like, "Now they're saying that she's dead?" And then, like, Bakugo's like, "What?" Because he thinks that Midori is dead. But they actually didn't say anything yet, except for that Izuku. That Inko was Izuku's mom. Anywho, and then they're all like, "It turns out that the villain muscular kidnapped this boy, Izuku Midoriya." And then as soon as Mitsuki and Bakugo heard this, they're like, "What? Why would they take Izuku of all people?" And then the news people were like reporting everything, and then like Bakugo was like crying silently, like even though he like pretended not to care about Izuku, he did secretly. And it's not a fucking Baku Deku ship. No, it's not. Anywho, he like still saw him as a friend, like a best friend, that they would do everything together. So Bakugo felt bad for everything he said earlier that day and everything that he did to Izuku and how he didn't defend him against his classmates, and he was the one that actually started everything. And he's just feeling bad and he's crying silently over on the couch. And Mitsuki is also crying because like Inko and her were best friends. And then she looks over to Bakugo. And then she notices that he's crying, so she goes over to him and just hugs him and holds him and saying that, "Don't worry, I'm sure that he'll be fine, that they'll find him and everything will be alright." And then as she's like also like crying and whimpering and stuff, and then Bakugo just like holds his mom, and then like 3 minutes later they are still crying, and then Bakugo's dad walks in the door, and then he's like, "What's going on? Like, what happened? Why is everyone crying?" And then Mitsuki just pulls out her phone and goes to the latest news thing, and then he reads it, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And then he pulls Mitsuki and Bakugo close to them, and then he's all like, I'm sure that Midori is fine. I'm sure of it." And then Bakugo's all just like sobbing at this point because he just lost his friend that he treated horribly, and he feels bad. Then on that day, when he was alone in that room, sorry again, it's a new puppy. He doesn't know any better. Anywho, once Bakugo goes to his room, he finally comes down. And then he's like, "From today on, I swear that I will not bully anyone. I will not treat anyone horribly like I did to Midoriya. And I will not hurt them like I did Midoriya. And I will be a good hero like All Might." Because he kind of looked up to Endeavor before Deku, like, got kidnapped. But like now he's like vowing to be like a hero. like an actual good hero. So then we cut back to, by the way, this is like a few hours after the train incident. So then cut back to Deku. Yeah, I'm sorry. If this is confusing, because if I said 3 days that he was like passed out, he was missing for 3 days. Forget about that. You never heard it, okay? Never heard it. So like this is all overnight and stuff, and then like when he wakes up, he hears the doctor and All For One talking to each other. Then All For One is getting mad, irritated, because the doctor said, well, we can't do anything with them until he's at least 7 or 6. And then All For One's like, then why did we kidnap him so early? And then the doctor's all like, well, we had to make sure that he lived, because most quirkless people don't live in this world. They don't make it past 5 or whatever. Let's just say that. And then All For One's just like, whatever. And then he starts building a Nomu, like an actual Nomu, like at the one at the USJ, but it's not as powerful, because they haven't tested it out and stuff yet. So then All For One storms off and starts making a Nomu, and then the doctor, and then All For One's like, just leave that kid in a cell for 3 years, and we'll use him once he's ready. And then the doctor's like, yes, sir. And then he goes over to Midoriya, and he grabs like a gun type thing, but has a capsule in it, if that makes any sense. It's like the thing off of Suicide Squad, like where if they step out of line, they'll die from like a hand grenade implanted in their neck. That's what they put into Deku, basically. That's what they put into him to make sure that he wouldn't run away and that he would listen to them. But they wouldn't actually kill him. They would just threaten him with it, and they actually kept it on him just in case he ever turned on them or whatever when he's older. So they just keep that implanted in his neck. So basically, they just give him like 2 notebooks and like a drawing, like pad and pencil and pen, and then that basically was supposed to keep him entertained for 3 years. 3 years. By the way, he's only gone missing 2 days. Only 2. So we're gonna cut. So we're gonna time skip to 7, when he's 7. When Deku is turned 7. Then All For One's like, good, he's finally ready to start training. And by the way, they would torture Deku for those 3 years that he was in his cell. Sorry, I had to take a drink. They would torture him in that cell, like almost where he was dead, but All For One make sure that he wouldn't die. Or he told the guys who would beat up Deku, like said, make sure that you don't kill him. We need him. And then they're like, yeah, whatever. And they go take out the anger on Deku. Now at this point, Deku was broken. He had no hope at all. Like, he thought he would be stuck in there forever. So, go back to when he turned 7. Yeah. And All For One's like, finally, he's ready to train. And then the doctor's like, yes. So, they call up someone. I wonder who it is. It's Stain. But let's say that Stain has not killed anyone yet. He's not on his hero killer thing yet. So then Stain already knows how to fight as good as he does in canon. He knows all of his tactics and moves and how to dodge and how to fight. So then, like, he starts working with Deku. Like, he's getting paid again because he needs, like, funding to be the hero killer and, like, to be off the grid and to be, you know, like, have enough where it doesn't raise any suspicion or whatever. Let's just say he needs money for it. So yeah, he trains Deku. He trains him for a year. So he is now 8. And then, yeah, he is 8 years old when Stain is finished training him to his best of ability. So then he can now beat Stain at fighting, and he's only 8 years old. So, like, that's impressive. They don't really work with his arm too much. It's just kind of there, you know, just from the function. But, you know, it does also have powerful punches and everything. Then, you know, Stain, like, taught him how to fight, taught him how to dodge and everything. Stain even taught him how to work with swords and, like, knives and everything like that. Like, everything that had a blade, basically. So then, let's say that Stain left after a year of training because he could beat Deku, and, like, he's basically useless now for Deku's training. So then, like, let's just say that they kind of formed a bond, a student-teacher kind of bond, but, like, Deku hasn't, like, really talked to anyone in 3 years, so, like, Stain didn't really care too much about him. He's like, whatever, I'm getting paid. But, like, Deku sees him, like, as a father figure, because this is the first person since Inko's death that has really talked to him, and, like, yeah, like, talked to him, and, like, kind of spent time with him. You know, Stain even cracked some jokes with him. So then, like, like, one day when they were training, he kind of let, like, yeah, Dad, he kind of let that slip. And then Stain was taking it back. He's like, what did you call me? And then Midori's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. And Stain's like, good, because I'm not your father. And I never will be. And then, like, after that day, he was more distant with Izuku after that. Because, like, if you want to be a hero killer when, like, later on, you gotta make sure you care about no one in life. Because the heroes will probably go after people you care about or whatever. So, yeah. Next, Izuku is going to train with someone who's more brutal. Someone who mostly works with his hands. And this is just going to be a nameless nobody that is known, again, for how brutal he is and how he fights. He kind of has his own style. So Izuku works with him for, like, let's say, half a year. Wait, no, not half a year. Year and a half. Yeah, that sounds good. Like, in that time span, Izuku learns his style. He learns how to fight like him. And then this guy was, like, more serious. And, like, he, like, beat up Deku, like, so freaking bad sometimes. Like, Deku didn't want to go back, but he had to. He had no choice. He was always forced to go back. And then Deku, like, when they would finally let him rest, he wished that Stain was there, you know? Because, again, that was, like, his only relationship since his mom died. So then he trains with that nobody. Sorry, I'm tired. Anywho. And then let's say another person comes in to play. By the way, he is 9.5. Yeah, he's 9.5 years old. He could beat Stain. And he couldn't really beat this dude, but like he always got really close to. But it was just like some little mistakes that messed up the whole fight for him. But like Alphonse like, thank you, next bitch. Basically with that, Alphonse like, he already spent enough time with you. I could see that he's getting good at fighting. So then basically for another year and a half, he is now, a year and a half. He trains with like a dead shot person. Like someone who is good with guns and never misses a shot. He's like the dead shot of this universe. At My Hero Academia. He works with them. The person teaches Deku all about guns. He even knows how to make his own guns, his own bullets. He knows everything about every single gun, basically. That took a long time for Izuku to finally get, like, because they would work together, like, from, like, 6 a.m. to, like, 10 p.m. in the night. That's how long they would work on shooting and everything. And by the way, they never let Izuku go outside in these years. Never once. They always, like, had him in a facility or whatever, and, like, they always had someone watching over him to make sure he wouldn't try anything. So, yeah, he learned guns, he learned how to fight, he learned swords and knives and everything like that. 10 years old. He's 10 years old. Sorry, I'm dozing off. Where do I want to go with this? This is unscripted, if you can't tell. So, let's say that he works with another person for 2 years this time. So, he's 12 right now. He worked with someone that taught him all martial arts, and at the end of this, Deku was fucking built. He had muscles for a 12-year-old. He had muscles and everything. Sorry. My throat kind of hurts. Anywho. Yeah. I trained with him. He learned all martial arts. He learned boxing. He learned kickboxing. He learned a lot of different fighting styles in those 2 years. So that's when All For One finally decided to give him some quirks once he turned 12. And you might be wondering, what quirks does Deku have? Or that All For One's going to give Deku? All For One is going to give him a regeneration quirk. So, like, it's, like, good as, like, Deadpool's regeneration quirk. And it's not really a quirk, it's a mutation in Deadpool's universe, but, like, in this My Hero Academia universe, it's a quirk. So, yeah, he has regeneration, good as Deadpool. And then...
But he cannot regenerate his left arm. That is one thing he cannot do. I forgot to mention that. Anyway, back to the video.
We're gonna give him an iron skeleton like Wolverine. I'm not sure if it's iron, but like, let's say in this world it's a vibranium. And strong as vibranium, which is pretty freaking fucking strong. Not iron skeleton. Fucking vibranium skeleton. So yeah, he gives him that, and then he gives him a super, like, enhancement quirk. So I have to write these down again. I'm making this up as I go. Just gonna make it a strength quirk. There's regeneration, the iron bone, skeleton thing, and like enhancement quirk that makes him stronger. And let's give him, I think it's called shockwave. No, never mind. And then the last quirk he gives him is a no, scratch that. I'm not gonna give him the iron bones thing. He has a regeneration. He has a strength quirk, and he gave him a quirk that is called winter. And then what the quirk can do is basically he can create a blizzard. Like around him, he can like make ice, he can make snow, he can like do all that. And he, like I said, he can make a blizzard if he wanted to. So he gives them all of that at once, which like gives him a lot of fucking pain. Like he was screaming for like, let's say 2 hours just in pain. And then he finally, like, his voice was fucked after that. It got deeper. It got raspier. So then he had all that. He started training with All For One. Like, because All For One was all like, I need to make sure he's stronger than strong and everything. So All For One trained him. He taught him stealth. And then he gave him another quirk. And it basically makes, in this, wait, should I give him this quirk? No, let's just keep with the 3 he has, because that's already, like, too good. So yeah, he works with them for like 4 months. Forget what I said for how long, if I even said for how long he worked with him. He worked with him for 4 months. So then they finally decide to send him on his first mission, which was to kill, let's say, I'm gonna say the mayor. The mayor. He's gonna send Izuku to kill the mayor because the mayor is starting to get too nosy in their business, and he's sending out more patrols, more heroes after the LV. So he sends Izuku after them. Oh my god, I did it. I didn't fucking say that he brainwashed him. They like trained him like Bucky Barnes. That's like the most important thing to mention. I am so sorry. They brainwashed him. It basically, what happened in the Winter Soldier, like if they say a certain set of words, it triggers something in his mind and it makes him basically brainless. Like he listens to what they say and what they order him to do. So that also happens. So they brainwash him. And then he's a like mission. And then the doctor was like, go kill Senator blah 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 blah. Cause I ain't good with coming up names. So yeah, Deku goes off on his mission, kills the senator. Woohoo, whoop-de-doo. And it's a success. He got away successfully. He used his winter quirk. Like he made it cold around them because yeah, he kind of wanted to leave like his own little touch. He wanted like if people like felt the cold out of nowhere, he wanted people to know that he was coming for them, that it's gonna happen. You're gonna get killed. You're dying that night. So yeah, that was his first mission. And then let's time skip to when he's 16. Ooh. Over the 4 years, because he was 12 when he sent on his first mission, by the way. Yeah. So yeah, time skip 2016. Between those 4 years, he was sent all over Japan. He was sent even overseas. He was just bouncing around place to place. So basically, anyone who fucked with the LOV or tried, or was like getting annoyed by them, and they would beat Izuku. They would meet him, and like he was like racking up his name on the streets. People called him the Winter Soldier because like it always started like to kind of like they kind of before people died, they saw snow before they died, and they're like, what? It's not winter. So that's how he got his name. And then like the heroes heard about this person just going around and killing people. So then they tried to track him down. They never could because Zuko always like tailed them off. He had some sorry. He had some run-ins with some heroes. If a hero got too handsy or got too close to Deku to catching him, which was rare, so it was like only one or two heroes, he basically would kill them. He has killed, let's say, 14 heroes. Yeah, he has killed 14 heroes. And the heroes are like after him. They're all like, we gotta find him. Like, and the heroes say, or the heroes find out that he's working in quotations with the LOV when he's literally being mind controlled and being forced to do it. He doesn't want to do it. And every time he comes back from a mission and he snaps out of it, he's like, who did I kill now? And then they always tell them, and then he always feels guilt after, but he can't really do anything because they have control over him. So yeah, he's 16. We're going to cut over to Bakugo. We're going to catch up with him. So, over the years, Bakugo has kept his promise. He hasn't bullied anyone since Deku has went missing. By then, people just pronounced him dead. He was dead. So Bakugo, once they finally officially pronounced him dead, he was obviously so. Okay, I'm gonna end this here. Goodbye.
Okay. So sorry for that cut. Anywho, yeah, we're gonna go over to Bakugo. I think I already said that. So yeah, he kept his promise that he made all those years ago. He has not bullied anyone since. Was like he was like a mouthy kid, but he followed the rules. Sometimes he would break them, but not that often. And he wasn't as such as a dick in like he oh my god, like he was in canon. He was nicer. He kept his promise, like I said. Anywho, his teachers were let's go to when the teacher came into the classroom and like said, well, we got to talk about who you want to be in your future. And then he's like, nah, forget it. I know you all want to be heroes. And then, everyone does their thing. They use their quirks and like screaming and being happy and stuff. And then Bakugo just stays silent. And then he like tells everyone what college they applied for. Well, not college, high school, sorry. Their middle school, I think. Yeah, their middle school. So like and then the teacher's like, he finally reaches Bakugo. He's like, ooh, Katsuki, you want to go to UA? That's a hard school to get into. And everyone's like, well, of course he can get into UA. He's the strongest in our class. And then Bakugo is just like, meh, sure, I want to go to UA. And then she's like, that's good. That's good to know. So then you do all that scene, and then this, I'm gonna say the sludge villain accident never happened. Let's just say the sludge villain was killed by Deku a few years ago because he was getting annoying and he was leaving traces of the LOV out. So, All For One sent Deku to handle him. So yeah, he died a few years ago. So then Bakugo, he walks up to Yue. He kinda has like what am I trying to do here? I'm trying to think right now. Yeah, he walks up to Yue, he does his thing, he gets his test. So yeah, I'll say he's like the 6th. I wouldn't say he's the smartest, but he's also not the dumbest. So I'll just say he gets 6th place in that. And then President Mike is doing his thing. He's explaining the robots and everything. And Ida like cuts him off, and he was all like, and then he was all like, "I'm sorry, sir," or whatever. He does his weird hand movements. Then he's all like, he's all like, "You did not explain. There are 4 robots on this page, and you only explained 3. Can you please explain this? Because if this is Yue's fault, I'm sorry, but I am disappointed in the school." And then he points to Bakugo, and then because Bakugo the whole time was like kind of not caring because they already like they handed out papers explaining everything, and then Bakugo already read it already, and then he understood everything, and he didn't care what Mike was saying because Mike was basically just going over it. Bakugo already understood everything, so he didn't really care for it. So then Ida points to Bakugo, and then Ida's like, you are disrespecting Yue. And then Bakugo's like, what the fuck do you mean? I mean, he still cusses, because just cuss. and then Ida was all like, you're not even paying attention. Do you even want to be here? Do you even want to be a hero? And then Bakugo like got hurt by this because he wanted to carry out Deku's dream for him. Hold on. Okay, is this working? I think it is. I hope it is. I'm just gonna wait. Okay, yeah, it's working. It's okay. Where were we? Yeah, Bakugo. Because Bakugo wanted to carry out Deku's dream of being a hero and like kind of make it up to him. So that kind of thing. Because he thinks he's dead. He's not, obviously. So then, hold on, I'm moving real quick. Sorry. Yeah, and then Bakugo's like, I'm sorry, I don't even know you. You don't even know me, so you don't know what I'm like and what my dreams and goals are. And then Ida's all like, I don't need to know you. I could just tell by the way you dress and how baggy your clothes are and how you act all high and mighty. Then Bakugo was all like, I might act all high and mighty, but I still want to be a hero. And you have no right to judge me. And then Bakugo was like, so sit your fucking ass down in that fucking seat and let President Mike continue talking. He was just about to get to it. And then President Mike is like, okay. Yes, I was about to get to it. And then Ida was just like, oh shit, I looked like a dumbass just then. And then Bakugo is irritated at this point. So then Ida sits down, he shuts up, and then, President Mike finishes his own thing. So then they go to the practical exam. Because I think I'm going to leave it off for here because it's already an hour and 10 minutes. About 10 minutes. But yeah, I'm going to end it here.
we'll get into it next video.